Over 1 million cinema lovers have already subscribed to Film Companion. What are you waiting for? Hit the bell icon and join our film family.
ZEE5's latest original series Mithya is directed by Rohan Sippy and is the official adaptation of British miniseries Cheat. Set in Darjeeling, the psychological thriller follows the complex, messy and increasingly chilling equation between a Hindi professor, Juhi Adhikari, played by Huma Qureshi, and her unstable student, Riya Rajguru, played by newcomer Avantika Dassani. What begins as a clash of egos between the two, after Juhi accuses Riya of cheating on an assignment, gradually escalates into a dangerous game of ongoing retaliation, obsession, blackmail, seduction, and even results in a murder. Because what doesn't these days? But of course, there's more to their increasingly deranged dynamic than meets the eye, as secrets and revelations about their pasts come gushing out of the woodwork. Mithya has all the basic building blocks of a solid psychological thriller: the moody remote setting, the unhinged characters, the escalating stakes, and a promising plot from writers Anvita Dutt and Althea Kaushal, who give us all the right twists and turns that a story like this needs. What the show is trying to do is pretty thrilling. Shit goes down between two people and things get out of hand, and before long, you forget who started it or why, and you're just entirely taken by the tension, creepiness, and moral complexity of both characters, where ideally you should start feeling for the bad guy and start questioning the good guy as they cross lines that there's no coming back from. For me, the gold standard here is the excellent 2020 Malayalam film Ayappanam Koshiyam, which showed us how a story like this can swallow you whole. But when the storytelling isn't refined enough and the narrative doesn't have enough of a hold over us to ensure that we're convinced and invested in every escalating beat, it's tough not to find the plot silly. But above all, Mithya is let down by its painfully bland craft. Strong writing and content aside, form really matters in creating a great psychological thriller. It makes all the difference in establishing an unsettling and disorienting mood and atmosphere to showcase a character's sketchy state of mind and mess with ours. Think of movies like Judgmental Hai Kya or last year's excellent Malayalam thriller Kala, where even before the story tells us why we should be, the feeling of the film already has us on edge. In particular, it's the shoddy sound design of Mithya that does much of the heavy lifting in letting down the story. A great use of sound can create a constant atmosphere of dread and be instrumental in making a story feel immersive. But here, all it does is make it feel impossible to take any of this seriously. There are even moments where you can't even properly hear the dialogue because the sound seems to have a mind of its own. Not to mention the forced, at times shrill background score that doesn't make us feel uneasy as much as it does constantly scream at us that we should be. After a point, it's not eerie, it's just irritating. Even the structure of the episodes is odd. The pilot episode is poorly constructed, and the twists and cliffhangers come at strange times, and there's very little to keep you hooked and desperate to jump to the next episode in what should be a pretty bingeable experience. The strange structure and the fact that it's a 6-episode series with 30-minute episodes just adds to my theory that this was actually shot as a movie and it's just been cut up and repurposed as a show. But hey, I could be wrong. What do I know? I still don't even know what an NFT is. Non-functioning thriller? Am I close? Even the characters of Mithya just aren't that compelling, and none of them share the chemistry that the story needs them to. Whether it's Juhi's rocky relationship with her husband, played by the always earnest Parambrata Chatterjee, who seems to have become typecast as Hindi cinema's go-to horror guy. More importantly, Mithya keeps trying to convince us of the layered, complex, obsessive connection between Juhi and Riya, which we never feel. It's a fascinating dynamic that needed 2 strong performances to bring it to life. But the performances here are strictly functional and add little to what's on paper. As Riya, the focal point of the show, newcomer Avantika Dassani just doesn't bring the necessary nuance that a character like Riya Rajguru requires to properly navigate and explore the manipulative, calculating, seductive and heartbreaking shades of a genuinely promising figure. Also, it's got to be said that almost every single teacher/professor on this show is either having an affair with a student, or did have an affair, or about to have an affair, or thinking about having an affair, or fantasizing about having an affair. Guys, are teachers okay, what's going on? In the end, Mithya is an achievement in making a mere 6 episodes feel like an absolute slog. Aside from its utter lack of urgency, Mithya is an unintentional masterclass in what craft, and in particular sound, can do for storytelling by showing us what happens when it's given such little care and attention. Creepy, psycho, obsessive stalkers never felt so dull. You can watch Mithya on ZEE5.